I also have to spend a few minutes on this. The Weather Channel founder, the guy who founded the Weather Channel, he's a meteorologist. He's just not some businessman who went, hey, we can make money on the weather. He's the Weather Channel founder. He wrote, global warming is the greatest scam in history. I want to read this letter to you. His name is John Coleman. He said, this is the greatest scam in history. I am amazed, appalled, and highly offended by global warming. Global warming, it is a, capital letters, scam. Some dastardly scientists with environmental and political motives manipulated long-term scientific data to create an illusion of rapid global warming. Other scientists of the same environmental wacko type jumped into the circle to support and broaden the research to further enhance the totally slanted, bogus global warming claims. Their friends in government steered huge research grants their way to keep the movement going. Soon they claimed to be a consensus. Environmental extremists, notable politicians among them, teamed up with movie, media, and other liberal environmentalist journalists to create this wild scientific scenario of the civilization-threatening environmental consequences from global warming unless we adhere to their radical agenda. Now their ridiculously manipulated scientist has been accepted as fact and become the cornerstone issue for CNN, CBS, NBC, the Democratic political party, the governor of California, school teachers, in many cases well-informed but very gullible, environmentally conscious citizens. Only one reporter at ABC has been allowed to counter the global warming frenzy with one 15-minute documentary segment. I do not oppose environmentalism. I do not oppose the political positions of either party. However, global warming, i.e. climate change, is not about environmentalism or politics. It's not a religion. It is not something you believe in. It is science, the science of meteorology. This is my field of lifelong expertise. I am telling you that global warming is a non-event, a manufactured crisis, and a total scam. I say this knowing you probably won't believe me, a mere TV weather, and I love to listen to her laugh hard. And so every Thursday, it is my day to listen to my wife laugh because she's watching The Office. Last night, they were all, trapped out, they went camping, and it was all about, green. All week it's been green with the green logo. Green is universal. They all talk about green is universal to stop you from thinking about the real parent company, not Universal Studios, not NBC. The real parent company behind it is General Electric. Are there any connections between environmentalism? Is there any agenda behind GE wanting to push global warming? Chris Horner has actually done quite a bit of research on this, and when you see the connections from Enron to GE to NBC, you'll be amazed. Chris, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks.
So, Chris, first of all, let's start here. Who has a larger lobbying budget? Is it all the oil companies combined or General Electric?
GE dwarfs them.
Do you have the numbers handy?
I have them in my book.
Well, that's all I'm saying. You don't walk around with your book? GE dwarfs the lobbying money on Capitol Hill of not just Exxon, but all of the oil companies?
Yes.
Combined?
Combined.
Okay. Tell me the story about Enron.
Okay. Enron very deliberately went about pulling together the world's largest windmill company, and it was they bought it called Zond, and it became Enron Wind, and then they kept growing. Then they cobbled together the world's largest solar panel venture with BP. You might have heard of them in the global warming context. Then they cobbled together, well, actually this was going on, the world's second largest natural gas pipeline network outside of Mr. Putin's Gazprom. Okay. All of which would make money if we regulated our centuries-long supply of coal out of business. And the windmills and the solar panels would only make money with mandates and subsidies. Remember, the Industrial Revolution was neither inevitable nor an accident. It happened because we were able to break free the bounds of wind and solar power. We've been using that for over 1,000 years, plus oxen and carbohydrate power people. once we unleashed the hydrocarbon, we didn't need windmills and solar panels anymore, and it's not a new technology. It's rather humorous to hear them describe it as such. I go to Spain as often as I can. My wife's from Denmark. I assure you, windmills are not new. And they would not power the Industrial Revolution today. But Enron had a great idea. They then went about encouraging the green groups, and I cite their internal memos in my book about how they had to monetize their relationship with the green pressure groups, and what I did at Kyoto memo from their then Kyoto lobbyists saying this treaty is exactly what we've been lobbying for, this treaty will be good for Enron stock, 2 exclamation marks, and so on.
Okay, this just so you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, that the environmentalists, before we saw the tape of Enron saying burn, baby, burn, when they were talking about the forest fires, the environmentalists really liked Enron because Enron was on their side pushing for these environmental caps.
Yes. Enron,
okay.
In fact, I cite emails from Teresa Heinz Carey's chief of staff, you may have heard of her, to someone named Ken Lay saying we're so enamored of your responsibility and your leadership role, would you please be our global warming efforts chair? The Greens loved Enron. Enron was a Pew Center poster child, and you should have seen, we were watching this unfold as the unpleasantness occurred regarding Enron. As the Greens rushed back and airbrushed their May Day parade photos and the Politburo shots because they were scrubbing every reference to Enron, and there were many. Enron was their poster child of corporate responsibility because, look, even big business, they like to cast it, even fill in the blank, is willing to look beyond profits and join us in this energy rationing scheme.
Okay, but Enron was not looking past profits. They were looking at the profits. How were they, if they cobbled together this wind power and everything else, how were they going to make money if they got into bed with environmentalists? What
happens is, under these schemes, under the Kyoto scheme, and you have to remember, the Senate unanimously told Clinton Gore not to go agree to Kyoto. That was in July of 97. In August 4th, 97, Sir John Brown of BP and Ken Lay of Enron